A very good morning to all my dear students. This is Ma'am Paul here, and today I'm going to conclude this poem which we are doing from the passing of Arthur. Up till now, children, in this poem we have studied about two things that the poet has highlighted to us. First is that change is the order of this world. This is how God has created this world, and change is a part of that rule or law that is implemented in every phase of every individual who lives in this world. Secondly, many things are done by the power of prayer. These are the two simple messages. In a very silent manner, the poet has given us this message by means of a conversation that takes place between King Arthur and his very loyal and humble and faithful knight, Sir Bedivere. So, what is actually happening in the poem? Towards the end, when we are concluding this poem now, we see a setup of the battlefield. There is, you can imagine, children, these were the poets and these ancient and old writers. They have written their precious pieces in such a way where they clearly depict a picturesque imagination for the readers. You can very clearly imagine what is happening if you read it well. You can imagine, at least for me, for myself, I can say that while going through the poem, I can imagine what could have been the scene at that time. So you can imagine that it is the scene of a battlefield where everything has been lost by the king. His name, his fame, his kingdom gone from his hands, the honor of being a king, and very badly wounded. He had been bleeding for a very long time, and there was not much strength left in the king because he knew that his end was very near. And in order to maintain the honor of his kingdom and the name that he had for himself for such a long time, in order to keep and maintain that honor, he did not want to die there on the battlefield. So with the help of Sir Bedivere, he somehow manages to go till the boat, and from there he was quietly, this was a quiet escape of the king towards an island where he knew that he would not survive for a long time. But he wanted to die like a king. He did not want to be there on the battlefield. So these were the last words that the king was talking to his knight. And looking at him, because he knew him so well for a very long time, they were good friends, and the knight had served this king for such a long time. There was a strong bond between them. So having things seeing that things were shattered right in front of their eyes, the knight was very sorry and he was very sad. So nothing else could the king do for Sir Bedivere. So he just consoled him by his words, and he said that comfort yourself, because whatever I had to do, I had done. Just pray for my soul, because if you don't see my face again, just pray to God that he should accept my soul and he should bless all the work that I had done, and no harm or evil should happen to whatever I had done up till now. And then he's saying, let your prayer rise like a fountain for me night and day. Then he's talking to us in the last stanza, children. The poet is saying that, for what are men better than sheep and goats, that nourish a blind life within the brain? If knowing God, they lift not hands of prayer, both for themselves and those who call them friend. That is, he is here saying that men who have brain, intelligence, and God has provided this unique quality of intellectuality, wisdom, knowledge only to human beings. So he's saying that knowing that they have a brain, they do not nourish it. Nourish here means they do not use it rationally, and because everybody knows that God has created this universe and he is there, he is omnipresent, he is everywhere in this world. So knowing God, if they do not uh, raise their hands in prayer, what are men better than sheep or goat? That is, they are more like animals. If knowing God, they do not lift their hands in prayer. Both for themselves, they should pray for themselves as well as for those people whom they call their friends. For so the world round earth in every way, bound by gold chains about the feet of God. But now farewell. What is he saying? Prayer is the only medium, it is the only link which connects us to God, and our prayers are kind of chains that are tied to the feet of God. That is how we can be connected to God. And then he's saying this is how we can put our prayers in front of God. And for now, farewell, because we are not going to see each other. That is silent, that is hidden, but that is understood that they will not see each other anymore. King Arthur says that man has mind, animals do not have that. Men who do not use their brains are no better than animals like sheep or goats. Prayer has a great force and divine effect. If we do not lift our hands in prayer to God, we pass an ignoble life. And we should always lift our hands to Him, that is, to Him here means to God, in prayer. Man is linked with the feet of God by means of spiritual link, which should be kept as strong as possible. That is, prayer is the only link by which we are connected to God, and we should make sure that that link is never broken. So we should be connected to God. That is what he is saying here in this last stanza, that if men are not nourishing their brains, they are not using their brains, knowing that there is a God, and they do not lift their hands, and for whom they should pray, they should pray both for themselves as well as for those whom they call their friends, because this is the only link with which we can be connected to God. And then he bids him a farewell, saying that they won't be meeting again. So they depart from here. These lines describe the firm faith of the poet in God. So it's a beautiful poem, children, and I think whatever the message the poet is trying to convey to us, we have understood that we should accept the change of order, and secondly, there is immense power in prayer. So we will meet soon, children, and I will come up with another lesson in my new lecture. Up till then, take care, children. Goodbye.